Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be reading.
National Geographic.
And there's no way for me to turn it off. It always is just going to happen. But we'll be reading Cleopatra today. It's published by National Geographic Kids. It's by Barbara Kramer. This is one of the read to me books. So this is definitely one that you could go and just have it read to you. Probably even better than me. But I want to make sure this is one I just show you, especially because it ties ties in so well with our ancient civilization unit, ties in with our whole week of biographies about really, really important women, and just focusing on women who made big contributions to history. Now, Cleopatra is definitely one that was well known and more well known compared to maybe the other four that we've done this week. But still, it's just a very interesting book. I know in class we talked about Cleopatra, but it was just little tiny snippets, and we didn't. All we really learned about was the end of her life. Kind of just as some of those civilizations were falling apart. And some of the roles that she played, and the great things that she did for Egypt. But we also kind of learned it basically just towards the end of her life and her control of power, just how things fell apart. So I just wanted to show you this book, and if this was something interesting to you, this isn't a choice on Epic. And if you don't know a lot about Cleopatra, this is a fantastic one. So just on that left side there, it just explores Cleopatra's life, her achievements, legacy, and why she continues to fascinate generations of readers. Now, as we are going to be reading through this book, there's great table of contents. Really breaks it down into parts. It is a great example of a biography. That's one of the things we've been trying to focus on this week is defining about biography. What is a biography? Do these biographies follow a good structure? Just a really good introduction of who Cleopatra was, but then it does kind of go through her early life, from being born to her young, being a kid to young adulthood, and then to basically just gaining more and more power. And just really cool. I mean, there's even one chapter about 7 cool facts about Cleopatra. There's a cool quiz at the end. It's a very, very cool book. Now, as we're reading this today, this is going to be our goal that we're going to focus on. Remember, for each of these biography lessons, there's always 2 goals, a reading goal and a social studies goal. So let's read our reading goal at I can determine. Ready? I can determine the main idea of a text and key details for support. Remember that determine means to figure out. Now, you're going to see we are not going to be doing main idea. We're going to be doing really more things about key details. And to go along with this goal, we actually are also going to be doing this one. I can ask and answer questions about the key details in a book. Sorry, I was going to totally do that, and as I'm recording here, all of a sudden I remembered, that's right, I was going to get that in there. I thought, no, it was the perfect time to do it. But so we are going to be focusing on this comprehension skill of asking and answering questions. So as we are asking and answering the questions, we are going to really be trying to figure out what are those key details? What are the most important facts? Because the reason why I want to have kind of those 2 reading goals is we've been spending a lot of time this week finding those good facts. And one of the ways to remember those good facts is by asking and answering those questions. And I really, 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 while you are trying to think of your questions, they should be key details. They should be the most important parts of your book. You should be thinking of tons and tons and tons of questions. But when I show you the graphic organizer today, you're not going to be doing a ton of questions. You're not going to be recording a ton of questions. You can if you want to, but the questions that you record, try to make sure they are about those key details. And we're going to use all of that today for our social studies goal. Let's read it. I can explain how specific or certain, so Cleopatra, people have done important actions or things to help change the world around them in history. And history just being past events. So I'm just going to make sure this book doesn't disappear on us. I'm going to go to Schoology. So you've already opened this up because you're watching the video. But today we are doing Biography Lesson 5, asking and answering questions. So I'm going to open it up. Remember, my screen is always so different because I have everything on mine, just waiting to send to you. So you've already done step 1, open this video and watch it. But now we're going to go to step 2, open this Nonfiction Ask and Answer Questions and Notability sheet. As you are getting this sent, you are definitely going to recognize this. This is something that we've done in class. Top right button, hit the top right corner, hit the action button, rectangle with an arrow. Send it to Notability. Create new note. Top right corner, hit import. Make sure the book doesn't disappear. Awesome. First thing, just make sure you get your name up on the top. So it's much easier for me when I'm going through everybody's, and just so I know whose is whose. So we are going to be asking and answering questions. Now, before we do anything, I'm going to ask myself a question about the book. Now you may be thinking about some questions yourselves. And when I'm going to go back to our Cleopatra book so I don't lose it. Your assignment today is you're going to watch this video and you're going to kind of see me kind of talk out my asking and answering questions skill sheet. But after you're done, you are going to read your own biography. I assigned everyone a biography on Kids A to Z again today. So you're going to read that. Biography on Kids A to Z. After you're done reading the biography on Kids A to Z, you are going to be doing your ask and answer question sheet. But before you actually start reading the book, you have to do your very first question, which is your before reading question. So something you are curious or wondering about before you start reading. So you'll ask at least one question. You can always do more, but ask at least one question. Then you're going to read your book. Then you are going to do you're going to do the rest of your ask and answer question sheet. You have to do at least 2 more questions and get the answers there. Down at the bottom, there are always all those really good question starters. Why did? Why didn't? Why is? Why do you think? Why did the author? How did? How many? What caused? What was? And then we have sentence starters over here. On the page blank, it said, the author said, the visual showed, the cause was. I know because, the map showed, it happened because, the problem was. So you can use any of those, or you can just use the who, where, when, what, why, and how to help you. But just remember in this first column here, it's before reading, during reading, and then during or after reading. Middle column is where you're going to write your questions, and that right column is where you're going to answer your questions, right over there. So to help me think of a good question, I might even just look at the table of contents and what's going to be in this book, which is kind of a good strategy because, yes, I want you to think of a really good question, but if the book doesn't answer it, that's not going to help you. So I'm just going to think, Cleopatra, birth of a queen, in her time, a fight for power, a sneaky plan, a celebration, a royal son, a change in power, me and the queen, on her own, 7 cool facts about Cleopatra, trouble ahead, the last queen of Egypt. So that's actually, I think, going to be my question. I'm going to give you just a little bit of time just to think.